Hello everybody, welcome back to Points and Miles 101, a 10-part crash course series to help you better understand the basics of the Points and Miles game. During our last video, we took a deep dive into all of the transferable points credit cards that are on the market, and we deciphered how you know how much value you're getting out of those kind of cards. Today, we are going to keep our discussion within the credit card realm and take a look at the various co-branded airline and hotel credit cards that are available to us. For those who might not be aware of the terminology, a co-branded card is simply a credit card that has the branding of a specific airline or hotel on the card itself. These cards come from the same issuers we've discussed previously, so the likes of Chase, Citi, American Express, as well as a couple other banks. Thus, the terminology co-branded. It's got the bank or the issuer and the airline or hotel. These cards function in a similar way to the transferable points cards that we've already discussed. You will earn points or miles based on your spending, with each card having its own annual fee, bonus spending categories, and statement credits. However, the difference between co-branded cards and the transferable points cards is that these cards intuitively earn points and miles directly with whichever airline or hotel group they are branded with. With these cards, you don't have the option of moving your points and miles between different programs. If you have a United branded credit card, you will earn United miles based on your spend with that card. The card will automatically be linked to your account with the airline or hotel, and the card itself will actually come printed with your loyalty number on the back of it. So if you already have an account, you will enter in your loyalty number at the time of the application, and if you don't have one, then one will automatically be created for you when you apply for the card. Now that we have a basic understanding of how these cards work, let's take a look at the various cards that are available to us. This is all information as of the time of recording, which is November 2024. So as I mentioned in the last video, this information can and probably will change over time as the issuers and the airlines and hotels tweak their lineup of cards on the market. There's a lot to go through, so we'll cycle through these graphics pretty quickly, but feel free to pause whenever you need to. We'll begin with the airlines and start with United, who partners with Chase and offers 4 personal cards and 2 business cards. We have the Gateway, Explorer, Quest, and Club, and then also have the United Business and Club Business cards. Next is American, who are a bit quirky and partner with both Citi and Barclays for their card offerings. They have a total of 4 personal cards. The 3 from Citi are the Mile Up, Platinum Select, and Executive cards, and they also offer the Aviator Red from Barclays. In terms of business cards, there is just one, the Business World Elite from Citi. Something to note here is that Citi is going to become the exclusive credit card issuer of American starting in 2026, so the Aviator card will likely become unavailable to new applicants at some point this year, although those details have not yet been announced by American. Next up, we have Delta, who partners with American Express and offers 4 personal cards and 3 business cards. On the personal side, we have the Blue, Gold, Platinum, and Reserve cards, and then on the business side, we have the Business Gold, Business Platinum, and Business Reserve. We will take a look at Alaska and Hawaiian together since they have now merged. Alaska currently has 1 personal card and 1 business card issued by Bank of America, and they recently announced that they will be dropping a premium level credit card at some point in the summer of 2025. Hawaiian has 1 personal card and 1 business card, both issued by Barclays. Next, we have Southwest, who partners with Chase to offer 3 personal cards and 2 business cards. The 3 personal cards are the Southwest Plus, Priority, and Premier cards, and for the business cards, we have the Southwest Performance and Premier business cards. Finally, we have JetBlue, who partners with Barclays and offers 2 personal cards and 1 business card. We have the standard JetBlue card and the JetBlue Plus card on the personal side, as well as the JetBlue business card. All right, another tangent here. JetBlue did recently announce that they plan on launching a premium credit card with lounge access at some point in 2025, but details on that are still scarce to this point. Again, any updates that happen after the fact, I will have down in the comments below. Pivoting now over to the hotel side of things, we'll take a look first at Marriott Bonvoy. Like American Airlines, Marriott also uses 2 issuers, Chase and American Express. Across both issuers, they have a total of 6 personal cards and 1 business card. Looking first at the personal cards, we have the Bonvoy Bold, Boundless, and Bountiful cards, as well as the Ritz-Carlton card from Chase and the Bonvoy Bevy and Brilliant from American Express. I will note that the Ritz-Carlton card is not open for new applicants, and the only way that you can get it is by product changing from one of the other Chase Marriott cards. And you have to have one of those 3 cards open for at least 12 months before you can request the product change. On the business side, we have just one card, the Bonvoy Business from American Express. Next, we will take a look at Hyatt, who partners with Chase and keeps it simple with one personal card, the World of Hyatt card, and one business card, the World of Hyatt Business card. Hilton partners with American Express and offers 3 personal cards and 1 business card. We have the Hilton Honors Surpass, and Hilton Honors Aspire on the personal side, and on the business side we have the Hilton Honors Business card. And finally we have IHG, who partners with Chase and has 2 personal cards and 1 business card. For the personal cards, we have the IHG One Rewards Premier and Traveler cards, and on the business side we have the IHG One Rewards Premier Business card. Alright, so now that you're familiar with all of your options, I'm sure the first question you're asking yourself is, well, which one should I get? Do I even need one of these cards if I already have one of the transferable points cards that we talked about earlier? Well, the answer to those questions is a very simple: it depends.
Wow, Jake, that is really helpful.
But seriously, it does depend on a variety of factors. Now, the overarching question still remains: is this card worth it? Now, we did explore this question in depth in our last video, and I would certainly suggest that you watch that if you already haven't, as the logic there remains the same here. We have to make sure that the value that we're getting out of the card is more than the annual fee that we have to pay to have it. Now, the additional advice I would give to the which one should I get question is a little bit different when we're talking about the co-branded cards. First of all, unlike the transferable points cards, there is an array of no annual fee cards on the co-branded side at our disposal. So at the very minimum, you could always get one of these cards and not have to worry about the whole value thing because you're not paying anything to have the card. All of those cards do have bonus categories for spend with that airline or hotel, so it would certainly make sense to at least have one of those with the airline or hotel that you frequent the most to get extra points or miles on those purchases. Of course, the points and miles you earn with these no annual fee cards won't be a ton, but it is better than nothing. And there are other perks besides just the points accruals on the spending. For example, the Marriott Bonvoy Bold comes with automatic Silver Elite status with Marriott, as well as 5 Elite Night credits that go towards your progress for higher status tiers. Pretty good for a free card. And then we have what I like to call the keeper cards. These cards do have annual fees, but the perks that come with the card already offset the annual fee before you even have to do any spending. For example, we have the World of Hyatt card and the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless card, which both come with a free night certificate at certain properties every year you have the card. So knowing that an average night at a hotel is probably going to cost you between $150 to $200, and of course assuming that you're going to stay at least one night in a hotel every year, you're effectively just prepaying a night at a hotel for the $95 it costs you to keep the card open every year. Any extra points you get on spending is just gravy. You could say the same thing for a card like the United Mileage Plus Explorer card, which comes with a free checked bag on every flight. All you've got to do is take 2 round-trip flights a year with a checked bag and you've offset your annual fee. You could literally get these cards, throw them in your sock drawer, never have to spend money on them, and still get more value than the annual fee you pay to have them open. These cards are also great for beginners because, again, you don't have to worry about your spending and your bonus categories and your statement credits because you know that you're getting value out of the card regardless. Now, when it comes to the higher end airline and hotel cards, it isn't as cut and dry because these cards come with some pretty steep annual fees. What it really comes down to for these cards is how often do you travel? If you travel a ton, they probably do make sense for you, but if you only travel a couple times a year, they probably won't. Looking specifically at the high-end airline cards, the big draw that comes with those is lounge access. How much of a value add is lounge access? Well, of course that's subjective, but we can all agree that having access to free food and drink and an upscale ambiance as opposed to waiting at the gate is worth something. For me, I typically peg a lounge visit at about $10 a piece, which is probably a little bit conservative, so feel free to decide for yourself how much much you think a visit to the lounge would be worth. No matter what that number is, the logic remains the same. You'll have to utilize the lounges frequently enough to be able to justify paying upwards of $500 in annual fees. If you're only flying and visiting a lounge a handful of times a year, it's not going to be worth the asking price. But if you fly a lot and visit the lounge 25 to 30 times a year at $10 a pop, that's half of your annual fee right there. Of course, there are other perks that come into play too, like extra checked bags and a higher bonus multiplier for airline spend that will also work to offset those annual fees. For the hotel cards, we're also looking at higher bonus multipliers for hotel spend, as well as higher automatic status perks and free nights at higher end properties. But again, the thought process remains the same for most of these perks, no matter the card. You really need to use them consistently enough to be able to offset those high annual fees. Now, all of this being said, you certainly don't have to choose between a hotel card or an airline card or a transferable points card. There aren't any rules against having more than one card, obviously subject to your creditworthiness and what you can get approved for. Almost everybody that is seasoned in the points and miles game has a certain credit card setup that optimizes their spending and travel habits. As of the time of recording, I currently have 6 total credit cards that are open, and I will constantly be updating and changing my setup as my personal travel habits and the product offerings change over time. Of course, you can't just get approved for 6 credit cards at one time. It takes months and years to build these kinds of setups. But my point here is that you don't have to confine yourself to thinking that you have to only pick one of these cards. Pick one today that you feel like makes the most sense, and then if you want to have multiple cards down the line, start to look into which ones best complement your spending habits and your travel habits, and of course the cards that you already have open. And of course, I would be remiss not to end a credit card video with the all-important PSA: always pay your bill in full on time every month. No amount of points is worth subjecting yourself to financial hardship by racking up interest on unpaid credit card debt. Before you consider applying for any of these cards, be sure you have established good spending habits and that you're spending within your means. That will wrap up our discussion on co-branded credit cards and credit cards as a whole. There is obviously a ton more we can talk about in this realm, but again, this series is just focused on creating that base layer of understanding. As you can see, credit cards play a huge role in the overall points and miles game, but traveling and using credit cards aren't the only ways that you can earn points and miles. There are a bunch of other ways that we can earn points and miles, some of which may come as a surprise to you. We're going to take a look at all of those in the next video. Until then, that will do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching as always, and we will catch you in the next.